Hello, my friends. Yes, it's Brother Sean here. And this is a heart response. How do we restore spiritual equilibrium in our life? Bit of a big word, that equilibrium. Very simply, by surrendering your heart to love. So, why is that so difficult today? Why do so many beautiful souls struggle with that word surrender? Could it be an ego thing? Could it be that they confuse the word surrender with losing control of their life? Maybe so. But the word surrender has a very powerful, positive, practical implication for our journey of faith, our journey to love. Let me explain. I know for one that I struggled with the word surrender. And in truth, and I do these videos in truth, I have no agenda to be famous. My sole purpose of being here is to honor my heart. And I share that in love because I've spent 55 years of my life in denial of my truth. That is a long, long time. And I'm an older man now, nearly 64. And I've spent those 55 years allowing my ego domineer my heart. And that was done through fear, through ignorance, and through being too clever for my own good. I confused the word surrender with failure. And another sense, I confused the word surrender with relinquishing my rights as a human being. All fear-based. All fear-based. When I suggest to you that spiritual equilibrium is your gift from God, and all that is asked of your heart today is not to surrender your life to an abomination or a tyrannical God, as in olden days where the indigenous peoples would sacrifice a young virgin girl to appease the gods, like at Machu Picchu. And today we have similar atrocities where in certain tribes, African tribes, it is customary for a young child to be whipped to death who happens to defend their heart by saying they cannot do a certain ritual because it doesn't resonate with their heart. And the tribal elders see that as a stubbornness that's possibly an evil spirit. So they're whipped until they can bleed no more. We've had cases of that here in London in the last few years, where tribal elders came from Africa to a family with a difficult son and daughter, and they would try exorcising the evil spirit by doing the most horrendous things to that young child, from pouring bleach down their throat, burning their inside, their esophagus, to performing ritual cleansing, and in the end the child died. And the perpetrators were finally caught many years later and imprisoned. But they, in their ignorance, knew no different, because they were brainwashed into listening more to the head, not the heart. Surrender is not about relinquishing control of your life. The word surrender from a spiritual mindset is about taking your power back from the mind that has governed you and kept you in a life of fear, a life of denial, where you've denied yourself love. How can you tell me that you say to someone you love them when you greet them, say friends you haven't seen for a long time, and they live overseas and they come to stay with you? The first thing you do is say to them, "Oh, it's so good to see you, I love you, I miss you." But in your heart, you're cold. You're like an iceberg. There's fear there. How can you mean what you say to your friend, that you love them, when you are disgusted with yourself because of fear? Are we not lying to ourselves? So spiritual equilibrium, there's that word again, equilibrium. It's about surrendering your heart to love, not fear. I surrendered my mind and my ego to fear because I was led to believe as a young nursing monk that that was the norm, status quo of being accepted. And many years later, I've come to regret that. And there were times in my faith journey when I sensed this was not right. But I was afraid. I was afraid because I was ignorant, naive, gullible. But today, despite my naivety, there is an inner knowing, and that has come from my brokenness. When I was broken into tiny little pieces 14 years ago, through the impact of an adverse side effect of Prozac, which I was given to help me deal with the death and dying of a very special brother. A brother who touched my life, a brother who was my prayer partner, my soulmate, where we would come to God together in love. And when he died, there was a black hole. And that black hole, the loss, the grief, was counterproductive. And the impact of the side effect of the mind-altering drug prescribed actually introduced me to another friend. Many would see as an enemy, but it became my friend, because that friend was mental illness. And in my breakdown, my breakthrough came. I had to become a child again. I had to learn to walk, to trust, and I had to learn to discern the needs of my heart and allow my heart, which was broken and wounded, and surrender it to that inner voice of God's love. And that did happen, but it took several years afterwards for the restorative process to begin. And here I am today as a result of that breakthrough. And now I can surrender my heart. And I pray with all my heart that there is spiritual equilibrium in my life today. There is balance, there is harmony, and that facilitates that divine connectedness that actually allows that spiritual equilibrium to take place in my life. And living a simple life, it's an abundant life. It's an abundant life because all my needs are met. I don't do the wants. I spent too many years enjoying the wants, craving the wants, and denying my soul, my heart, my specific needs, which was inner peace, joy, balance, harmony. So spiritual equilibrium is easily obtained, and the gateway to accessing it is not by being clever, not by procrastination, but by coming into your Christ self, and in prayer and in silence, being aware that you are in the presence of the Supreme, a holy, loving Father, Mother God, with the company of heaven. And they guide you, they speak with you, they commune with you. So in the surrendering of your heart to access that balance and harmony, there is an inner peace. And you can't explain it, because you have to experience it, to live it, to enjoy it. Yes, we have trials and tribulations. Yes, we have disappointments, but they're nothing in comparison to being governed by the ego that denies you your truth. So spiritual equilibrium is as essential for the soul as air is for the lungs. Try it. Bless you.